Ask and ye shall receive. Okay, well, ask a bunch of times and then maybe ye shall receive. I have been saying that the future of hi-fi is powered. Not only powered, but smart. Well, today we are taking a look at arguably one of the more notable smart speakers around that also has, wait for it, audiophile credibility. So let's not waste any more time. Subscribe, hit that like button like it's your job, because we're talking about the KEF LS50 Wireless IIs today. We've had the LS50 Wireless IIs for a minute, and those of you who have spotted them in the background of our videos, about half of you have got them right, whereas the other half have mistaken them for LS50 Metas. Now, you're forgiven, of course, because the Wireless IIs look nearly identical to the Metas from the front, as they share essentially the same driver complement. In other words, the LS50 Wireless IIs, like the Meta, are a two-way design that have a 1-inch vented aluminum dome tweeter with KEF's own metamaterial absorption technology sitting inside a 5¼ inch aluminum mid-bass driver. This driver array, along with its rear-facing port and of course 380 watt combined amplifier power per speaker, give the Wireless II a reported frequency response of 40 Hz to 47 kHz. The Wireless IIs are not just powered speakers, they're smart powered speakers, meaning they have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, AirPlay 2, Chromecast, the works. They also have an HDMI input complete with eARC, optical and coaxial digital audio inputs, an analog input, USB input, as well as subwoofer outs. This means you can enjoy the Wireless IIs for both 2-channel listening as well as in a basic 2.1 home theater without any additional components, save for maybe a display. The Wireless IIs support MQA and DSD and are compatible with the vast majority of streaming music services and are even ROON ready, which I love. In terms of looks, if you think the Metas, LSX, or even Q series speakers are sexy, then the LS50 Wireless IIs are going to elicit similar vibes. They come in a variety of finishes, black, gray, white, and crimson red, and depending on the finish, the driver color may differ to better complement the color scheme. Now, setting up the Wireless II is easy peasy. They can be treated just as you would any passive bookshelf or tower speaker with respect to placement. Now, these are rear-ported speakers. Their ultimate bass response in your room is going to depend very heavily on how close or far away you position them from your front wall. They will have more bass if positioned closer and less if pulled out. Now, you can of course augment their bottom end by using a subwoofer, which I did for a bit by pairing them with our SVS 3000 Micro to good results. And as for everything else, I wanted to rely on the Wireless IIs for everything. So they served as our primary speaker, digital music source, and home theater setup. The only other source components I used to test the IIs were our Vizio P-Series Quantum X TV and the Cambridge Audio Alva turntable, which I connected to the speakers via Bluetooth. Now, after connecting the speakers to our TV with an HDMI cable, I finished setting them up using the KEF app. The app is solid. This is my first go with the app, and I have to say, next to the Name one, which is still one of my favorites, I'd say the KEF app is a very, very close second, beating even the B&O app, which I love, but I know many of you don't. It does come with a basic remote, but to be honest, I didn't really use it because the app does everything that you need. Inside the app, I was able to connect the IIs to my home network, as well as various Bluetooth devices like my phone, the Alva turntable, and I was able to also create custom sound profiles and dial in the bass and treble to my liking. Not to mention, it also allowed me to integrate a subwoofer with a certain level of precision that I honestly was not expecting. The app also allowed me to connect to TIDAL, though admittedly, after testing the app, I defaulted to using ROON, which I ultimately preferred. That said, the KEF Connect app is free, whereas ROON is not. If you're interested in trying out ROON, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can try it for free, plus get a free month if you sign up. In my meta review, if you haven't watched it already, where have you been? But I'll link to it in the description below. I talk a lot about how their sound is going to come down to your choice and associated equipment, specifically your amplifier. The Metas, to me, are rather neutral and lacking in any overt personality. Now, what I didn't say in that review was the fact that you could, through proper system matching, influence the sound of the Metas to a degree, should you want to. For example, you could use tubes to inject a bit of warmth or roundness to their tone, specifically in their mid-range and treble response. Or you could go with a Class D amp to lighten or liven up their bass. Can't really do that with the Wireless IIs. So at the end of the day, the Wireless II sound is kind of their sound. And what is that sound? Well, it's controlled. No other adjective suits the Wireless IIs better than control. Every time I sat down to listen, that word popped into my head without fail. The twos are not a ruthlessly revealing speaker, but they are somewhat ruthlessly consistent. Now, I know some of you are likely warming up your fingers to comment, well, that's what makes a good speaker, you dummy. And I'm not going to disagree. But music isn't always perfect. Sometimes it's raw and even a little messy. And in those instances, the wireless twos can come off as a bit clinical. Bass, for example, is deep and taut with virtually no added resonance or bloom, so you're not going to get any Honda Civic vibes here. But with instruments like kick drums, which have a certain resonance, the two's desire for absolute control, while admirable, is lost on some recordings. For example, the opening drum riff on the track Dancing Nancy by Dave Matthews Band. Some of its organic and live quality is lost on the twos. The kick drum on that track has a livelier vibe, one that should sound like it was recorded in a more open space. But through the wireless twos, it sounds more booth-like. All that impact, detail, and depth is present, even without a sub, but the scale, that kind of real estate around the drum itself just felt overly dampened to me. And I can apply this same sentiment to the rest of the speaker's frequency range. Mids are pure and detailed, lacking virtually any and all color one might get from, say, a passive design, courtesy of either their cabinet or just general construction. Vocals are focused, clear, and intelligible at all volumes. And again, nears makes no difference, completely neutral to the source. But that sense of air or space is somewhat supernaturally absent from the mixes in a way that I am honestly having troubles describing. Same story for the highs. The twos lack sheen or shimmer way up top. Highs have good scale and texture, but that sparkle, that metallic ring that you know I love, not so much. In terms of soundstage, the twos are very detailed and have solid separation between instruments and performers with a very strong emphasis on center fill. Width isn't quite as good as depth, at least in our room, where the opposite is more often true, though what was present was good enough for me and nothing that I would lose sleep over. But the strength of these speakers with respect to soundstage falls largely between them. And in that respect, they feel very monitor or recording studio-like, which can be fun. Dynamics. Now, here's where having powered speakers really pays off, because the twos are unflappable at virtually all volumes. They scale very well and can sound tower-like, both in terms of scale as well as dynamic impact, thanks to their design. So on the whole, the twos are a very easy speaker to listen to. They don't really showcase faults in a lot of recordings, but may, emphasis on may, help gloss over some deficiencies or subtleties, which is a bit of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, the speakers do possess an incredible amount of detail, speed, and articulation. They are largely colorless to my ears, which should make them a favorite among the neutral is best crowd. But their lack of, dare I say, imperfection may also mean that some folks may find them just a bit sterile compared to even the LS50 Metas or other similarly priced speakers. All that said, I adore them for their simplicity and flexibility and appreciate them for those reasons, maybe even more so than for their sound. Everything about their higher functionality, be it their HDMI integration, streaming prowess, Bluetooth connectivity, the lot, it all just works. KEF has designed what has to be one of the more stable, if not the most stable, powered smart speaker platform I have encountered to date. The wireless twos, in my experience with respect to their app and connectivity, have performed flawlessly. And I fear it is the one aspect of their performance I will miss most upon their return. As for downsides, I don't really have any, because their sound is their sound, and whether or not you like it is, well, subjective. As far as features go, like I just got through saying, I found the wireless twos to perform flawlessly, and I had zero issues with them during our review period, which is more than I can say for the competition. Speaking of, the LS50 Wireless IIs will likely be cross-shopped against the B&W Formation Duos, the 5s from Klipsch, Q Acoustics Active 200s, Dolly Oberon C-Series, and perhaps a host of other less expensive powered speakers from Kanto, Edifier, and the like. Let's start with the Formation Duos. I think the Duos are a little bit nicer looking, if I'm being honest, but I understand that looks like sound is subjective. I had a great time with the Duos, and I think they sound a little more open and airy compared to the twos, but if I had to choose between the two, I'm going with the wireless twos for no other reason than their stability and flexibility compared to that of the Duos. When it comes to the 5s, this really isn't fair because the 5s are currently like a quarter of the price of the 2s. Still, the 5s have HDMI support and can do a lot of the same things the 2s can, albeit not nearly as elegantly. But if you wanted to enjoy some of the 2's functionality on a smaller budget while still being able to enjoy that clip sound, the 5s are an absolute no-brainer. As for the Q-Active 200s and Oberon C-Series, I have to tell you, we have had them both in-house and both were returned without a review due to issues with their platform, mainly connection issues. So I can't comment on how they sound compared to the 2s because I didn't really get a chance to hear them because I really couldn't get them to work. Now, Q Acoustics is sending a new pair of 200s for us to check out, a pair that they claim to have corrected the bug that we encountered, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And as for other less expensive powered speakers, it's no secret that you can find powered monitors nowadays for next to nothing. And in some way, shape, or form, they are going to do some of what the 2s can, and for many, that's going to be enough. But a pair of Kanto YU6s, which are great, don't get me wrong, they're great, aren't that comparable to wireless 2s. It's sort of like comparing a Toyota to a Porsche. Yes, they're both cars and perform the same task, but the experience of driving is decidedly different. So in the end, what do I think about the KEF LS50 Wireless IIs? I love them, but like I said, not altogether for the reasons I think you or audiophiles in general, or maybe even KEF, would prefer that I do. They possess excellent sound quality, just maybe not the sound quality I would ultimately pick for myself to be a forever speaker, but that's just me. What I love about them, however, is their simplicity and rock-solid reliability, two things you don't often get when talking about smart hi-fi loudspeakers. And through that lens, I think KEF has knocked it out of the park with the LS50 Wireless IIs. So that's now my review of the KEF LS50 Wireless II, but now it's time to find out what Christy thought of it.
I prefer the Metas over the Wireless IIs. Yeah, I know. I was a bit shocked too, because, you know, I really like powered speakers. But I think like you, I was really expecting the Wireless IIs to basically be Metas, but powered.
Okay.
And, you know, they're not. So, you know, what I loved about the Metas, I now realize was heavily influenced by the amplifiers we were pairing to them.
Okay.
And, you know, so initially, like, I was shocked by that fact, but when I really stop and like think about it, it's like, well, duh. I mean, it makes sense because I've never really favored a neutral anything. So
yeah.
So there's that.
Okay.
I love the Metas, and I gotta realize that probably comes down to how we powered them. So
yeah,
you know, good to know.
Yeah, very good to know. Very good to know.
Here's the thing that I think you're probably really curious about.
Okay.
And that is, well, do I choose between the Wireless IIs and the Formation Duos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you've got to know the answer to this because I am going to be team Formation Duo all the way.
Really?
Yeah, duh. Okay, but here's the bigger question for me. Do I get the Duos over the Metas?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Now, that's tough because I don't know. I really can't answer that question. I think I can only really answer that question if we could do a true A/B listening test.
Yeah.
And since we don't have the Duos or the Metas anymore, I guess I'm just never going to know.
Okay. But you just committed the age-old audiophile sin, and that is you're trying to compare passive to powered.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does matter a little bit because the Formation Duos are a complete ecosystem that, like we say in the review, they don't require system matching. They take a lot of the guesswork out of it, whereas you can get the Metas absolutely right. We know that you can. We know that you can get the Metas absolutely right, and you pair them with the right electronics, specifically a nice higher powered amplifier. They are absolutely magical. But if you get it wrong, you're going to have a decidedly different experience. Whereas the Formation Duo experience is the Formation Duo experience, just like the LS50 Wireless IIs.
Yeah, I know that, and I hear what you're saying, and you're right.
I just don't care.
But it doesn't matter because look, what I'm saying, or in my mind, the way I know we can make the Meta sound was very close to the Formation Duos. So at that point, I'm kind of looking at it from a more like stylistic, aspect.
Okay.
And I can tell you that I really love the compact size of the KEFs, and but unlike you, I'm kind of leaning towards them. As far as which style I like better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I will admit, I think the KEF has nailed the size of these speakers. I know size is not really something people should harp on too much, but they are so good and so compact that I think that makes them immediately 10 times more approachable than a lot of speakers. And even whether you're talking about the Metas or the LS50 IIs, their output is surprising for their size.
And I just really like their finish, the look of them. They're really nice. I think the Bowers and Wilkins is a very nice speaker as far as how it's packaged and constructed and all that. Like it's great. It's still very good. I think just stylistically, not really even thinking about anything else, that kind of pushes me over to the Metas.
Okay.
But it's still a very hard choice.
Yeah.
And I would have to, like I said, do a true A/B test to know, but that's never going to happen. Anyway, but here we go. Mm-hmm. Sound-wise, I still have not heard anything powered that I like better than the damn RBH. And I will give you my mother for those powered speakers. Those things kick everybody's ass. And to this day, I am really miffed that we didn't that they took them back before we even got to review them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some brands are...
I don't get it.
They make 0 cents when they come to their decision. So.
We had those things forever. And I don't even recall what happened. We were all set to review them, or we kept asking to review them in video, and I don't understand. There must have been some kind of miscommunication. Long story short, I don't think RBH quite understood who or what we did.
I think it
just got so convoluted.
The thing was like the main person we had been speaking with, he left the company
while we had them,
and then they had some new people, and it was suddenly like the urgency to get them back was more important than actually getting a review out of them. And I was just like, whatever, take them. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Yeah. But they're still good. They sound great.
They're huge.
They're huge, and I know you were shocked that I liked the look of them.
Yeah. I personally think they are not very attractive.
I mean, they are not the most forward-thinking in terms of design. I will give you that. There was something about them for once that I didn't mind, the simplicity of a black box. Now, if you go on their website, which, I'm sorry, it's atrocious and stuck in like the Alta Vista time period.
Yeah, about 1998.
Yeah. You can add some...
like marble cheeks to them.
I just, like, why?
Don't do that.
Why would you do that? But you know what? Look, different strokes, different folks. And, somebody out there is clearly into it because they offer it. Yeah. But for me, I would just stick with the plain Jane package. But, yeah. Anyway, I really liked those. Yeah. I think they sound good. If you're looking for a traditional looking black box powered speaker that's just gonna rock your world, I would definitely check them out. So the one speaker that I'm actually really surprised that you didn't mention was Tannoy.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, to me, the powered speakers, the Gold 5s. The Gold 5s, which we reviewed.
And still have.
them. Those, for me at least, are a bit reminiscent in terms of style to the KEFs. And honestly, they're practically free. So if you're on a strict budget, those are the powered speakers I would get. The fact that you can get them in different driver sizes, it's even better. So, I mean, like, to me, it's like pick your poison.
Yeah. You want to know the reason why I didn't include them? The reason I didn't even include the Tannoy Golds in my comment about lesser powered speakers like the Kanto and the Edifiers and things like that is the Tannoy Golds, like the JBL 3 series, and the RBH for that matter, are what I call dumb powered speakers, in that they are powered, yes, and the Golds have a similar design to that of the KEFs, but all they do is play sound. So you need to bring your own source components. You need to figure out your own streaming platform. And some of you will sit there and go, well, that makes them more flexible. So that's actually better because I can change my DAC. I can change this. I can change that. That's all very true. But I wanted to try and compare apples to apples as much as possible. And the Kantos, the Edifiers, they have things like DACs built in, just like the wireless 2s. They have phono preamps, and they have other inputs, subwoofer outs, things like that. The Golds, the JBL 3 series, which I will admit, I actually like just as much as the wireless 2s. I think the Golds, and even the JBL 3 series, are an embarrassment of riches. And like Christy said, they're borderline free on like Amazon and places like that. And I have relied on both of those speakers very heavily in my professional work. I guess this could be considered professional work too, but before YouTube, I was a JBL 3 series fanatic, and now I am a Tannoy Gold fanatic. So if you're just looking for a powered speaker, one that doesn't have any other added functionality or connectivity, by all means, check out the Tannoy Gold, check out the JBL 3 series, and go check out the RBH. But if you're looking for a loudspeaker that can replace, say, an entire stack of equipment, connect to a television, and be intelligent in that way, these speakers aren't going to do it for you, in which case now you are looking at the Klipsch 5s, wireless 2s, and things like that.
Those are good points.
Yeah.
Those are good points.
There's a method to my madness.
That I did not think of. I was thinking more about just kind of a budget powered speaker. Getting back to KEF, the next thing I need to hear from them is a pair of their tower speakers.
Yeah.
You know, look, I already know I'm going to love their design because honestly, everything they make is gorgeous. So based on my experience with the Metas, I'm pretty sure a pair of tower speakers from KEF are going to just blow my mind. Yeah. So, I mean, well, once I find the right amp for them.
Yeah. I too, I'm with you. I want to hear their tower speakers too. Their Q series has been intriguing to me for a very, very long time. And there's just ample amounts of review about the Q series. So I want to hear it. I'm not sure how valuable that review would be at this point, given the Q series has been around for a minute now, and it's just been so widely covered. I'm kind of curious about the blades, and I know that is a decidedly more expensive loudspeaker, but it's got meta technology in a tower.
Those are KEF speakers?
Yeah, the KEF blades.
I don't guess
Yeah, they're a little bit futuristic looking.
Okay.
They're different. They don't have like the wood finishes. I know the R line, the R series.
Yeah, the R series I think is
in between.
It's kind of where I was thinking.
That's where you're going? Okay. I would love to hear the R series. And I know the R series is in between kind of the LS50 line, if you will, and then going all the way up to like Blade. Blade would do battle with, say, our Focals or Wilson or something like that.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen the blades.
You have. They're usually shown in, I think, blue, which I don't want blue. But I'm interested. I'm very, very intrigued because I heard the Muons, which is their flagship speaker, many, many years ago. And I think those were let down by the environment, because I remember walking away from that going, it's a very, very big speaker. There's a lot of grandeur here, and it didn't really translate, but I think that had to do with the environment. So
you mean like the ROON?
The ROON, yeah. So I've always wanted to also go back to a high-end KEF speaker to see if maybe my first and really only experience with their highest end product was not their fault.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to hear a lot more from them. And I'm with you. I find something incredibly intriguing about what it is that they do. And they have a style, and I like it.
Oh yeah, I love their style.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like Bang & Olufsen.
Yeah.
They have a very, very clear design language.
Yes, and that's worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That is now our review of the KEF LS50 Wireless II loudspeakers. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. And while you're down there, got a question of the day for you. Of course I do. We have reviewed a lot of powered speakers on this channel, so now I want to know which one is your favorite. Let's get a list going down in those comments. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Ring that bell so that you're notified when new videos come out. We are approaching 200,000 subs, so you're going to want to subscribe because, like I keep telling you, that 200,000 video, it's all about you guys and a very, very massive giveaway. So subscribe if you're not already.
And make sure your subscriptions are public.
Yes, and make sure that your subscriptions are public. We will include a link in the description that details what that means. So make sure that you do that. It allows us to basically see who you are, verify you are who you are, so that you can win something. Right? All right. If you use any of the links that Christy left for you down below, know that that is a great way that you have continued to show your support for this channel and the work that we do here. And both of us, thank you all very much for doing that. Follow me on Instagram at Recovering Audiophile, and that is it for me today. So remember, I feel like we should do like a bouncing ball thing here. You know, say it with me. The only person who has to like the sound of your system is you. So happy listening, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.